Hello everyone, Morgie Roy here. I just want to do a little video today about something that I'm super interested in and find absolutely unendingly fascinating, and that is outer space. I love outer space so much that I actually put it into my VTuber designs with my banner and my actual model design that I'm working on. So I just wanted to share a few of my favorite space facts with you, and these are just ones that I've come across in my travels that I just find very interesting. And keep in mind, I am not a scientist. I am just a layman who is interested in this stuff. So if any of my facts are a little bit off or a little bit wrong, or I use the wrong word or the wrong term, I apologize. I've tried to double check my work, but I am just a person who has an interest in this stuff, but has not gone to school for it or anything like that. I just want to talk about things that I think are cool about outer space. So here we go. Number 1, stars don't twinkle. They actually only appear to be twinkling to us because their light is passing through Earth's atmosphere, which is a phenomenon called astronomical scintillation. Many large telescopes that they use right now to look at stars really, really far away use something called adaptive optical systems in order to compensate for it. So this reduces the effect so that when they take pictures of stars, they don't have that sparkling effect that we see when we look at them with our naked eye. Planets are also affected by this, but because they are so much closer than any of the stars that we see at night, the effect is lessened, and thus they don't appear to sparkle when we look at them, they just shine. So when you hear that old saying, oh, to tell the difference between planets and stars sparkle, planets shine, that's why. Another thing that I find very interesting is that when returning from spacewalks, many astronauts have reported that their equipment has a bit of a funny smell, almost a burned metallic odor that kind of smells like welding fumes. And they say this might be because of any residual oxygen that exists on their suits or on the outside of the ship they are on is actually being affected by the vacuum of space. So other regions of space could have different smells, depending on if you are traveling through molecular clouds that have different elements in them. But generally, space is scentless because there's only very, very few atoms between objects in space, like a few atoms of hydrogen just kind of floating in several meters of empty room. So, and hydrogen doesn't have a smell. So therefore, most of space is scentless, but there are areas of space that could have a smell. Third interesting fact, Earth is the only planet in our solar system that has a single moon. In fact, our moon is actually a little too large for our size. It's larger than most satellites are for the size of the thing that it is orbiting around. So thus, one of the reasons why they think life has formed on Earth is because the moon's gravity has stabilized our planet's wobble, which has made the climate less variable than other planets. And this has made it more livable over thousands of years, so it's easier for life to live here. Unfortunately, that also makes the fact that finding another planet exactly like Earth is going to be very difficult to find because we kind of have like this perfect union of factors that make Earth the way it is. But, you know, there's a lot of stuff out there, so who says that can't happen again? The moon is also slowly leaving our orbit at the speed of 3.78 centimeters a year, which, you know, is slightly worrisome, but the fact that the sun will go supernova way before the moon ever leaves us is probably reassuring in that regard. So, you know, big picture. The fourth fun fact I have is that gamma ray bursts, which are extremely energetic events in the universe that are the most powerful class of explosion that they've ever discovered. And a typical burst from a gamma ray burst releases as much energy in a few seconds as our sun will release in its entire 10 billion year lifetime. And they're just happening out there. Thankfully, very, very far away from us. But there's just these... I don't even know if there's a word to describe how large these explosions are. Gargantuan? Gargantuan explosions happening out in space all the time. And thankfully, they're not near us, but yeah, gamma ray bursts. They're really cool. The next cool fact that I have is the Milky Way, which is where we are right now, the galaxy we're in, is estimated to contain 100 to 400 billion stars, and at least that number of planets. Most stars do have planets around them. And the Milky Way is just 100 to 200 billion galaxies in our observable sky. So it's huge. Like, space, the universe is incredibly huge. It's impossible to imagine. And I know some people get freaked out by that, but I think that isn't so cool. And some of the oldest stars in the Milky Way are almost as old as the universe itself. They're not exactly sure when the universe began. They think approximately over 13 billion years old. And some of these stars are 12 plus billion years old. So that's crazy. Another fact is that the current measurements suggest that the Andromeda Galaxy, which is the nearest galaxy to us, is slowly approaching the Milky Way. And in around 4.3 billion years, they eventually will collide together. Now, they look like they're very tight clumps of stars, but if the two galaxies collide, the chance of individual stars hitting each other is actually quite small. But the two galaxies could combine and probably merge to form one singular giant galaxy over the course of about 6 billion years. My next fun fact is that a fireball is a brighter than usual meteor that can also be seen in the daylight. The most well-known one in recent memory occurred above. I'm going to try and pronounce this. I looked it up. Chelyabinsk Oblast in Russia on February 15th, 2013. And I'm sure you guys have all seen this footage. It was captured on many dash cams and caused a lot of damage and a lot of injury to a lot of people. But it is the most clearest image of a fireball because it was in a populated area and a lot of people were able to catch it on camera. But there are probably more than 500,000 fireballs a year that hit the Earth, but we don't see them because most of them occur over the ocean and most of them occur during daytime. So unless they're very large ones that are over a populated area, we don't see them. But the fact that that many fireballs happens over the Earth every year is incredible. And my last fun fact that I love to bring up in conversation because I think it's so cool is that we actually have several potential methods for terraforming Mars that we can do technologically right now. Unfortunately, the economic cost would be astronomical. So we can do it, but we also can't. But the other problem is that anything that we could do to terraform another planet like Mars or Venus, we could do to fix all the things on Earth that we have messed up, and it would be much easier and much less expensive to just get Earth back to a livable situation for humans and other creatures on the planet. But, you know, I know there's lots of people out there who are excited to go to Mars, but if anybody who has the power to do that and the money to do that is watching, that would be great to just, you know, help Earth. But anyway, on a happier note, I hope you enjoyed my random outer space facts. I was just really inspired to do this because I've talked about a lot of my special interests on here, Pokemon, D&D, VTubing. You know, space is another thing that I've always been really fascinated by, and I just want to talk about it today. So I hope you enjoyed my space facts. I hope you're having a great day. And if you're not having a great day, I hope your bad day is over with soon. Please like and subscribe. Watch my other videos about random topics that I like to go on about. And thanks for watching. Bye bye!